You're not supposed to be here. The words hissed like poison as flight attendant Clara Whitmore ripped the boarding pass from Alyssa Grant's hand, her smirk lit by the cabin lights of a private jet. Passengers stared, some filming, others whispering. "People like you don't sit in this section," Clara sneered, shoving her backward. The slap of paper against Alyssa's chest echoed in the silence. What no one knew, what would shatter every smirk in that cabin, was that Alyssa owned the jet itself. "You're not supposed to be here." The hiss came like venom from flight attendant Clara Whitmore as she yanked the boarding pass from Alyssa Grant's hand. Her smirk glowing under the cabin lights of the sleek private jet. Passengers leaned forward, eyes narrowing, some already lifting their phones to record. Clara shoved the pass hard against Alyssa's chest. "People like you don't sit in this section." Alyssa steadied herself, her jaw tight. But before she could answer, Clara's voice grew louder, meant for the entire cabin. "Security should have caught this. She's obviously a fraud." Whispers rippled like wildfire. "She doesn't look first class. Another scammer trying to sneak on board." Clara shoved again, knocking Alyssa back into her seat. "Out, before I drag you." The silence was broken by a sharp laugh from a passenger in a tailored suit. "This is priceless," he muttered. "Recording. Wait until my followers see this." Alyssa's fingers curled into fists at her sides. Her voice, calm but edged with steel, cut through the murmur. "That seat is mine, and I belong here as much as anyone else." Clara sneered. "Then prove it. Show us your real ticket, unless you left it back in economy where you belong." The humiliation thickened. Phones zoomed in, passengers whispering like spectators at an execution. Clara's manicured hand gestured toward the aisle. "Up, you're done here." Alyssa rose slowly, her blazer sharp against the dim cabin light. She didn't shout, she didn't plead. She spoke with chilling clarity. "You just made the biggest mistake of your career." Clara rolled her eyes. "Threats don't work here, sweetheart." But before Clara could continue, Alyssa reached into her leather case and produced a black folder. Its seal gleamed silver in the light. She opened it, sliding a document onto the drink tray for everyone to see. "Ownership papers, registration codes, leasing contracts," she said evenly. "This jet, it belongs to me." The cabin erupted in gasps. The suited man lowered his phone, blinking. "Wait, what?" Clara laughed nervously. "Nice forgery. What kind of stunt is this?" Alyssa pressed one button on her sleek phone. The speaker crackled. "This is Alyssa Grant. Authorization code, Sky Delta 19. Confirm aircraft ownership." A crisp voice answered instantly. "Confirmed. Jet Bravo 77 is registered to Grant Holdings. Passenger list cleared by the owner. Proceed at your command, Ms. Grant." The jet fell into stunned silence. Clara's face drained of color. You can't." "I can," Alyssa interrupted coldly. "And I did." She turned toward the gawking passengers, her voice carrying like a verdict. "You've all enjoyed your show. You whispered, mocked, and recorded a woman being humiliated because you assumed she couldn't possibly belong. But this jet is mine. Every seat, every crew paycheck, every bolt in this cabin, it all runs through me." Gasps thundered. Some passengers lowered their phones, ashamed. Others kept filming, realizing history was unfolding. The suited man stammered. I didn't know." Alyssa's stare cut through him. "You didn't care. None of you did. You saw my skin and made your judgment." But judgment without truth always collapses. Clara stumbled back, eyes wide. "I was just following procedure." "Procedure?" Alyssa's voice sharpened. "Slapping boarding passes against passengers? Calling them frauds in public? Humiliating them for entertainment? That's not procedure. That's arrogance." Her phone buzzed again. She answered, putting it on speaker. "This is the chairman of Skylink Airlines," the voice announced. Miss Grant, we've been informed of the incident. What do you want done? Clara nearly collapsed. Please, don't. Alyssa's gaze was ice. Terminator. Effective immediately. The cabin gasped again. Clara's badge was stripped, her trembling hands leaving it on the drink cart. Alyssa continued, her eyes sweeping the room. And as for this airline, new protocols begin tonight. Mandatory bias training. Passenger advocacy hotlines. Every complaint reaches my desk. The days of unchecked humiliation are over. The suited man whispered, she's rewriting the airline mid-flight. Alyssa turned back to her seat, her movements calm, measured, deliberate. She placed her phone on the tray table, her final words echoing through the stunned cabin. Power doesn't need to shout. It speaks once, and the world listens. Passengers sat frozen, some in shame, others in awe. The live stream counters surged as the footage spread globally. Within hours, hashtags exploded. Hashtag GrantJet, hashtag Justice in the Sky, hashtag Bias Grounded. News anchors replayed the confrontation, praising Alyssa's poise and devastating precision. By dawn, Clara's name trended worldwide, her career ending in disgrace. The airline's stock wavered, then rallied as Alyssa announced sweeping reforms. 6 months later, airline complaints had dropped by 70%. The Dignity in Transit Foundation, founded by Alyssa, provided passengers everywhere with protection against discrimination. But for Alyssa, the most powerful moment wasn't the applause or the headlines. It was the silence on that jet, the moment arrogance died and truth filled the air, and the slap of paper against her chest, once meant to humiliate, became the sound of an empire shifting in her favor. Yet Alyssa refused to stop there. She began traveling unannounced, boarding flights in secret, testing whether her reforms held weight when no one knew she was watching. Each time she saw staff treat passengers with fairness and dignity, her resolve strengthened. Each time she found bias, she dismantled it without mercy. Industry leaders called it the Grant Standard, and aviation schools began teaching her confrontation as a case study in ethics. What started as humiliation in a single cabin had become a global shift in how dignity itself was carried across the skies. If this story shook you, don't just leave in silence. Make your voice part of the change. Smash the like button, share this video with everyone who needs to see it, and drop a comment with the moment that hit you hardest. Subscribe right now and turn on notifications, because the next story won't just entertain you, it will challenge, provoke, and remind you why truth always wins in the end.